everyone, this is Janice of JK Reviews. Kayla, my K, is not with me tonight, but I do have a K that might be able to join us if she comes out from under the bed. Come here. Say hello to everybody. I have Kimmy, who can help review if she doesn't knock over the camera. Hey, hello. Come here. Minute. Make position here. Okay. So basically, this reviews that I'm going to be doing by myself sometimes, and with Kayla if she wants to, is going to be fan fiction. I've done some review of fan fiction before. It's been really fun. I've mainly started this because I've heard a lot of fan fiction writers talking about how discouraged they are that people do not give them recognition, and I think that's really downhearting because there are some amazing writers out there who deserve to be known. I write fan fiction, but not for I'm not a writer. I dream something, I write it up, I throw it out there for fun, to make people laugh, just for the fun of it. But there are people out there who actually this is a life capability, or this is a life hobby for them, and more than a hobby. This is something that they could possibly make a career, because they are amazing writers and they deserve to be known. And I think some people don't take fan fiction serious enough to consider them writers. And so I wanted to start reviewing some fan fiction. And I'm going to be like, if you guys want any type of fan fiction, like if there's anything you've written or read and you really want to hear what I have to say about it, just send it in. Not a problem. If you want to message me, or if you want to, send me a link of it on the YouTube, you go right ahead. And I just want you to know any content, any rating, anything. I'm also not a fan of how there's people out there who are trying to force writers to write what they want and not what the writers want. Like, they're not allowed to put this in their story. They're not allowed to do this in their story. They're not allowed to pair these two people in the story. I think that's ridiculous. I think that you should be able to write whatever you want, and you should be free to do whatever you want with your writing. So send it in. I'd love to hear it. My very first story that I'm actually going to start reviewing is The Green Hill is Haunting, and that is by OswintheStrange. That is a supernatural fanfic, and it is rated M, which I was actually surprised by, because right now in chapter 1 there's really nothing M related, so I'm curious to see how that's gonna get. And it's amazing. It's very beautifully written. The characters are perfectly in character, so it's just a really cool monster of the week kind of story, and I love reading it. I feel like I'm reading an episode, and it's made me fall in love with the show all over again. It has Sam and Dean and Rowena in it, and I miss Rowena. You guys all know how much I miss Rowena. And in this, I can just pretend that she's still alive. I still think she is alive. I have hope that she is. They're keeping things too quiet. Something's gonna happen. They're gonna wow us. But in this, I can just pretend she's alive again, and I can have those adventures that I've been wanting again. I'm so excited to have her back and have those type of adventures, and this is one that I can enjoy for that. So The Green Hill is Haunting is basically, it is a parody or inspired by the Blair Witch Project, both the original and the remake, and it's so good. It's amazing. It starts with this girl running in the woods, and she ends up getting grabbed by something. And as I was reading it, I just could feel this girl's fear, the way it was written, and how she was just trying to get away, and at this moment where she thought she was safe, and it was like, no, you're not. You're in the first 5 minutes of Supernatural, including the first 5 minutes of a Supernatural fanfic. You're gonna die. Or maybe not die. I don't know what happened to her. She got grabbed and dragged away. And I love how Oswin described it, that she was dragged towards it. And that just makes you even more terrified. Like it's not just that she was dragged away, it's that you're in her perspective of being dragged towards the evil that is chasing you. That's just terrifying. And then there's like a ... and you almost, I can almost imagine the Supernatural logo just pop. And I loved it. I loved imagining. I actually made the noise, the psh noise that goes on as I was reading it. And then it gets to Sam and Dean talking about how they have a case. And I absolutely love this conversation because something that is my favorite thing in the Supernatural show is when Sam and Dean have a case and one of them doesn't understand why they're going on the case. And what I mean to say is, like, times where Sam or Dean will say, hey, you know, I think we have a case. This is happening. And then this other, you know, Sam or Dean will say, oh, that happens all the time. What's the big deal? And then the, you know, the other brother saying, well, this, and this. And it's a pattern that I've noticed and I love. And she did it. And I was like, yay, she gets it. Like, that's something Sam and Dean do, is like, they don't jump the gun all the time. They're not like, why is that interesting? And so Sam comes in about the case and Dean's like, okay, it's the woods. Like, people go missing in the woods. I don't know how this is our, you know, expertise here. I feel, you know, bad for the girl, but what does this have to do with us? And Sam, you know, mentions how this was the woods of a serial killer. A serial killer apparently died there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. I love forest-related stories because I love the woods. I think you can do so much with them. Like, they're spooky and huge and just vast and just creepy at night. And there's so much you can do with it. And I think that's what made the Blair Witch Project so interesting, was just the way that it showed the woods and how terrifying the woods could be. And so Sam and Dean go to investigate. They talk to the mom of the victim, who says that her daughter was into true crime and she went to go stay in the woods because that's where the serial killer, you know, happened to, I guess, die. I need to reread it. But I believe it's where he died. And Sam and Dean, you know, they kind of go into conversation. First of all, I love how Dean's like kind of teasing Sam about, like, you know, you're into that stuff, right? That, like, weird crime stuff. And he's like, true crime. And, like, Sam's so proud of his hobby of, like, you know, I study this stuff. It's necessary for our cases, and it's interesting to me. And there's a lot of people who are interested. They go spend the night at the hotel where The Shining was filmed. People can stay at Lizzie Borden's. You know, some people want to be there. They want to be immersed in it. I'm not one of them, but that's still really cool. And so I get why the girl wanted to go out into the woods and just, you know, go there. And Sam believes that, you know, that wasn't a good idea. Sam and Dean both talk about how, like, you know, the serial killer's ghost could be lurking there, or some supernatural entity is the real killer. And it wasn't actually a serial killer. It was some supernatural being. And then Dean brings up the fact that it might be a witch, and they're going to need some backup. So they call Rowena. And Sam's like, she's not going to do this for free. Out of the goodness of her heart, no way. And so Dean comes up with a really clever idea. He offers her pages of the grimoire, pages that they choose. And if she's willing to do this, then they will let her have those pages. And she agrees to that. And the story, chapter 1, ended with her on her way to them to help solve this case. So I'm so excited for chapter 2. The writing's top notch. I mean, it was a short chapter, but I'm already so excited. It's like if you turned on an episode and you're sitting there and you're watching this and you're so excited, and all of a sudden your parents are like, hey, I need you to do the dishes. And you're like, no. And then you get called into work. It feels like that. Like, when it ended, I was like, no. So it's really, really cool, and I'm very excited to read chapter 2. Guys, check it out. It's amazing. I have the link for the story below. Give it a shot. See what you think. Write me if you have read it, and also write me if you have any requests. Have a great night. Bye.